Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video I would be discussing about the important questions of science class 10 term 2 of biology part. In my previous video I have discussed about the chemistry part, so you can check it. And uh, and let's get started with this video. So this is the question from the chapter 9, hereditary and evolution. Now as you know that only heredity will be coming, not evolution, because CBSE has like omitted that portion. So I will be discussing this question. So what is given in the question? Let's see. Now with the help of one example of each, distinguish between the acquired traits and the inherited traits. Why are the traits or experiences acquired during the entire lifetime of an individual not inherited in the next generation? Explain the reason of this fact with an example. So first of all, we need to distinguish between the acquired traits and the inherited traits. So I will tell in my own words. So first of all, we should make the table. We should write in the tabular form and write in the points, so that it will be easier for the teacher or the examiner to check your answers. So first of all, talking about the acquired traits, so these are the traits that are acquired by a person during the person's lifetime, and they do not pass to the progeny. For example, learning a skill such as a dance, swimming, cycling, or losing of body parts, or losing of weight, and so many other examples. Now talking about the inherited traits, so traits present in the gamete or germ cells, which can be seen in the progeny, है ना? Or we can say that these traits are inherited by the parents, है ना? And they pass to the next generation. For example, eye color, skin color, height, eyebrows, and many examples are there. Now this part of question is completed. From this part of question, our question is already completed. We have answered the question of this with the help of one example of each. Distinguish between the acquired traits and the inherited traits. We have discussed the answer. Now talking about the next part, that is what are the traits or experience acquired during the entire lifetime of an individual not inherited in the next generation. Explain the reason with the fact of this example. So in this line, or in this question, we have asked about why acquired traits can't be inherited to the next generation. So we need to write the reason with the example also. So the reason is that the traits or the characteristics acquired during the person's in his lifetime, or in his or her lifetime, do not bring any change in the DNA of the germ cells, and any change in the non-productive tissue cannot lead to the change in the DNA of a germ cells. And for example, decrease in the body weight. Here is given one example, like decrease in body weight of beetles due to starvation do not pass on to the next generation, because there is no change in the germ cell of the beetles. They are not means they do not bring change in the DNA of the reproducing cells. So that's why their next generation will not face any change in the any change of the beetles. So this is the proper answer, as you can see. Acquired traits, inherited traits. So as you can see the answer. You can see the answer. So this was the question about the heritage and inherited, acquired and inherited traits. Let's take the example of human beings. So human beings, if they acquire any skill, or if they acquire any knowledge, they gain knowledge, or they learn any skill like dance, music, or swimming, so automatically their child will not know the whole knowledge of swimming or dancing, है ना? Your child from the birth will not know about the dance forms or the whole study of like chemistry or something, because it does not bring any changes in the DNA of the reproducing cells. Now talking about the eyebrow, the skin color, they can pass to the next generation because they are bringing change in the reproducing cells. Now this is the second question from the chapter number 8, reproduction. So the question starts from here. Explain the term regeneration as used in the relation to reproduction of organisms. Describe briefly how regeneration is carried out in multicellular organisms like Hydra. So here we need to, first of all, we need to explain the term regeneration. What is regeneration? So it is the ability of a fully differentiated organism to develop the new individual or separate individual from their broken body parts or cut parts of their body. So as you can read it from here, regeneration, it is the ability of an organism to give rise to a new individual or new organism from their body parts, like I have said earlier. Now talking about the regeneration in Hydra, the second part of question is that describe briefly. We need to describe that how regeneration is carried out in multicellular organisms like Hydra. So here it is not written like planaria. It is so in the question it is already given the name of the organism, that is Hydra. So we need to write the answer in the Hydra's context only. So regeneration in Hydra. So the body of Hydra by any means is cut into any number of pieces. Now each piece contains the specialized or the regenerative cells. Now these cells proliferate and make a mass number of cells. Now from this mass number of cells, different cells undergoes many changes to become various cell types or to form the tissues, which finally develops into a complete organism or a separate organism. So this is the regeneration in Hydra, and this is the topper's answer. I think I should read it. Fully differentiated multicellular organisms has the ability to regenerate cut parts to complete individual organisms. If the organism is cut or broken, the specialized cells in it, which is responsible for reproduction, proliferate and create mass number of cells. Now these mass number of cells separate and develop into different structures in the body in an organized sequence called development. Now in simple organisms like Hydra, regenerative cells proliferate and give rise to a large number of cells and form into a complete organism, whereas regeneration cannot be same as reproduction, as organism will not depend on being cut up to be able to reproduce. Now this is an asexual mode of reproduction. This also takes place in organism like planaria. So this is the answer written by Topper. Now we have the third question from the chapter number 8, reproduction. So this is the long answer type questions, and it is of 5 marks. So it can be asked. So first of all, the question is asked here, draw a diagram to show spore formation in the rhizopus. So you only need to draw the diagram and label it properly. Now talking about the next question, that is with the help of an example, differentiate between the process of budding and the fragmentation. So again we need to draw the table and write the points. Now differences between the budding and fragmentation. Talking about budding, so in budding a small part of the body of the parent grows out as a bird now and then it detaches and become new organism or a separate organism on maturing. Now the second point the written is that Hydra produces by budding using the regenerative cells. Now talking about fragmentation, in this the body breaks up into one or more small species of fragments and grow into a separate individual. Now talking about it takes place in multicellular organism with a simple body structure, that is in Spirochera. Now talking about the third question, that is why is vegetative propagation practiced for growing some types of plants. So it's very easy. It can be we should also write in points. So first of all हम कहाँ से चालू करेंगे कि plants that do not produce seeds can be propagated by this method, and in vegetative propagation method it is also a very affordable method for growing plants. Now let's see what answer is written. So the question is that why is vegetative propagation practiced for growing some type of plants. So it is like that कि vegetative propagation is practiced for growing some types of plants, because only first point is that only one parent is required for the reproduction. That is, this eliminates the need of special mechanisms like pollination and fusion of gametes, that is fertilization. The second point is that many plants are able to tide over unfavorable condition or because of the presence of vegetative propagation, vegetative reproductive parts like tubers, cones, and bulbs. Now, talking about the third point, plants that do not produce seeds can be propagated by this method. That is, example, sugarcane and potato. Now, talking about the fourth point, as I have discussed, it is economical method, affordable method. It is cheaper and easier and a rapid method of reproduction in plants than growing plants from the seeds, because seeds are very expensive. Now, for example, lilies grow very slowly and take up to 7 years to develop flowers when their seeds are grown, but when grown vegetatively, flowers are produced only after a year or two. Now, the fifth point is that the trait or the character of the parent plant is preserved and the offsprings are genetically identical. So, this is the whole question of the long answer, which can be asked in the 5 marker. So this was for the video, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. I will also make a physics part in the next video, and